Okay, I want to do a video on this. It's going to be kind of interesting.
You can't blame the parents. Of course they can. I'm just concerned about the children. Should I go no contact with my mom? I will tell you about going no contact. Don't worry about hurting a parent's feelings.
Continue.
Guys, before we get into this crazy subject matter for today, please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to be notified every single time we post a new video for you guys. Now, without further ado, let's talk about Jeffrey Marsh. Now, this is a man who we've covered on the show many times before because of his grooming content, and yes, I am calling it grooming content.
I just want to know, why is it seen as grooming just because he's talking to younger people about his perspective on transgender issues, but it's not grooming for you to talk? I mean, there are young viewers of your channel and many other conservative channels. How is it that it's only grooming for him? Are conservatives groomers when they talk to the youth as well? I'm just curious, And that's the thing. To me, it's not that I have anything against conservatives talking to anyone. I support and follow many conservative channels. Specifically, I am subscribed to Amala's channel because I find that there's a lot of things I agree with her on. But the thing is this: why is it you believe in freedom of speech, but then you really don't? You only believe in it when you like it, when you agree with it. And that's not really believing in freedom of speech. Like, Jeffrey Marsh has every right to talk to children about how to handle or how to deal with homophobic or transphobic parents. That's one side I want to get through to. I will talk about the next sector.
That's exactly what he's doing, that he posts on TikTok in particular. And if you take just a moment to look at his page, he has over 600,000 followers, nearly 700,000 followers, and much of his content is aimed at children.
I want to talk to the kid.
And he's talking to children about non-binary rights, trans rights, they, them pronouns, accepting yourself in a different gender, how to transition, what do you do if your parents don't want you to transition? Jeffrey Marsh even goes as far as to say, if your family does not love what you're doing, does not accept what you're doing, I will be your family.
Hi, beautiful. If you do not have a family that loves you, I'm going to be your family.
That's just the person. That to me is not grooming a child. To me, because there are people who choose to be transgender or homosexual or whatever the hell, okay? A part of that whole party of people. And you could be born in a family that's transphobic. You could be born in a family that's homophobic, right? So how do you suppose this person is supposed to live? In complete turmoil, consistently living around people who are going to torment them for eternity, for the life that they live, because their parents are homophobes or transphobes. Yeah, that's not really looking out for the well-being of that person who is transgender or homosexual. So I don't really get why you guys try to call this grooming or trying to hurt children. It's actually trying to help children who are in these situations, who are not accepted by their families, and that, to me, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think homosexuals and transsexuals need to accept that homophobes and transphobes exist. And just as much as we don't want to change homosexuals and transsexuals, we shouldn't want to force homophobes and transphobes to change. That's their personal choice. If they don't want to accept homosexuals or transsexuals, that's their right. But what do you think transsexuals and homosexuals are going to do about it? Just like homophobes and transphobes, what are they going to do about it? You really think they should congregate together? No, they should go no contact with each other. Both sides. Transphobes and homophobes should avoid homosexuals and transsexuals. Transsexuals and homosexuals should avoid transphobes and homophobes. That is how you live peaceably together and coexist. It's like you want to push the children in the direction of the homophobes and the transphobes in efforts to not make them transsexuals or homosexuals. And it's just like, to me, in my opinion, it's like, I don't really get why you're trying to change the situation if that person has already decided that they're going to be a transsexual. That's how they're going to be, So that's just how I feel about that. Now, I do think that everyone should have the right to be honest with transsexuals. We shouldn't be forced to be calling people pronouns that we don't want to call them, basically. I think that people should have a right, but transsexuals have a right to live their life the way they want to live their life and include who they want in their life. That's just the truth. Anyway, continue.
Just a few examples of the content that Jeffrey Marsh is putting out. Let's take a look.
Biological sex is fake. Yes, we all know that gender roles are fake, but do not say to a trans person, biologically male, born female, male-bodied. No. There is no biological criteria for gender that is both universal and a binary in human beings. Where does that leave us? Free.
Free. That's so funny, because I was thinking jail.
So he's going to jail because he said what his opinion was on sex? What is wrong with you? You must really believe in some kind of totalitarian ideology, some dictatorship, where you're basically trying to say that because this person thinks that, specifically that gender, that they think that sex isn't real or whatever, that is his ignorant, well, not ignorant, but, well, I mean, it is. It is a fact that sex is true. It's a real thing. It's a tangible thing. But the fact that he said that doesn't mean that he's going to jail. The fact that he says that to children does not mean he's going to jail, nor should he go to jail because he believes that sex isn't real. That's his personal opinion. It doesn't have to be factual. That's his right to freedom of speech if that's what he wants to say. Now, on that whole basis, I understood what he was actually saying. I obviously agree that sex is real. Sex is the only reality. Gender is not real. Gender is fake. And there is no biological basis for gender because gender isn't real to begin with. Because gender was just made to basically oppress women and to mutilate intersex people. So, I mean, it's not about actually anything to do with people being, someone being, one sex or the other sex. It changes depending on the culture. So obviously, male people didn't learn automatically we're not supposed to wear dresses. Well, if that was the case, then why are they put in dresses in other cultures? You see my point? They would automatically know they're not supposed to wear dresses if it was in tuned with their sex. Gender is not in tuned with your sex. Gender is just a social norm, a social expectation. But gender is not real. Gender is not tangible. Gender is fake. So, I mean, to me, I just kind of with what he said there, I don't really hold anything against what he said in the sense of someone needing to go to jail because they have a different opinion than you, Amala. If you really believe in freedom of speech, you should not have an issue with the fact that he thinks that sex is not real. We both know that sex is real, but he can have an opinion that it's not real. He won't be able to back it up with any factual truth, but he can still have that opinion. Continue.
It's unbelievable. And of course, that's a very typical video, at least as far as gender activists are concerned. It's not particularly aimed at children. He's not calling at kids directly to start believing in this. But let's talk about where he does exactly that. He has several videos on the platform where he is speaking directly to children. He even tells parents, put the phone in front of your child so that I can talk to them. Now, Jeffrey Marsh is now going back and trying to delete those videos and erase his footprint of what he's been saying on TikTok, but luckily we've got some receipts, so let's take a look at that.
Your parents made mistakes. You can't blame the parents. Of course they can. I'm just concerned about the children. Should I go no contact with my mom? I will tell you about going no contact. Don't worry.
If he wants to blame the children the parents, that's his perspective. A lot of people will blame the children or not like the choices the children make as well. Like I said, there's people who are transphobic and they do not like transsexuals, and they do not like bending the boundaries of imaginary gender construct that you guys have going on there. And when they have that with transgender people, they don't like the choices that the transgender person makes, and they blame the transgender children. Is it wrong for someone to blame a transphobe for their lack of accepting transsexuals? Yeah, if they're a transsexual themselves, if they believe in that, they can agree that it's wrong to reject transsexuals. You could also say that it is hard, and I understand this. This is hard for transsexuals to be accepted by other people, and this is regardless of transphobe or not. Regular people who don't really have an issue with transsexuals like that. It is hard to accept them when they don't accept themselves. But, that's a different story. If we're talking about the ideology of the situation, we all have our opinions on it. I personally think, it's hard to accept people who reject themselves, who, take surgeries, hormones, and all these things to change their bodies to make it look like they aren't what they actually are, because they cannot love their bodies in their natural form, So, I personally don't understand how you can accept someone like that, but I can understand someone in that perspective is saying, I don't understand why you can't accept your child as well. So, yeah, it makes sense that they would still blame the parents, and that's their perspective. I don't understand this. Do you understand that these people are on the side of transsexual people? So therefore, some of the things we're talking about, their perspective is going to be in that perspective. It's like you can't put yourself in those people's shoes. For me, I guess I don't have a problem putting my feet in either people's shoes. And that's why I can understand both sides. Anyway, continue.
About hurting a parent's feelings. If you have toxic parents will always make it about them. Your parents rushed you. Your parents screwed up. Families like to keep the roles the same. Here's your way out. If you do not have a family that loves you, I'm going to be your family.
Did y'all hear that? If you don't have a family that loves you...
Yeah, they're basically trying to explain that for them, they feel that their parents failed them. And for people like that, period. So people in the like-minded boat of this individual, basically. Not just random people. I think they're talking about people that fit into the category that they're talking about for themselves and people like themselves, basically. So to me, I just kind of feel like, of course, they're going to talk from their perspective, and you should not be shocked. The fact that you are fragile and uncomfortable with the fact that he's speaking from his perspective implies that you can't understand that people have different perspectives than you. Continue.
By loves you, he means that it's not going to accept you transitioning or wanting to be on life-altering, irreversible medications. That's what he means by a family that does not love you. So he's clearly trying to indoctrinate and groom children.
That's not indoctrinating. Some people choose to transition. Some people choose to be transgender. some people choose that for their lives, Like I said, it's not the healthiest lifestyle. Obviously, you're changing your body. You cannot accept your body. You've obviously rejected yourself, and that is a hard existence. With that in mind, it must be hard to reject yourself and then have everybody else reject you in your family, because then who accepts you? Like frickin' nobody. But that's the choice you made in your life, right? Do you want to continue to surround yourself around people like that? Well, that's your choice. If you don't, you don't. Some people choose not to associate with people who don't align with their personal beliefs and their lifestyle, and that's their choice. Transgender people have the right to choose to have that lifestyle as grown adults, of course. And, considering, I don't feel like he's specifically talking about people who are questioning. He's talking about people who are specifically strongly in the ideology that they are transgender. And that's their personal idea of themselves, basically. So I do not see anything wrong with what he is doing from what you are showing. Now, maybe there's more to it, and I've heard a few things that I think you're going to cover that are very interesting. So let's get to it
that
soon.
Is within question. There's no question there. If you take one look at this man's content, you can see exactly what he's doing. And it's because it's a choice he's made for his own life. So who better to talk to than very malleable children who are ready to accept ideas like this? That's what he's doing. And he's doing it on a platform called TikTok, which we all...
But why are you saying he's doing it for malleable children? I mean, you could say it could be in the other reverse, transphobes and people who are critical of transsexual people will talk to young children too. So what's the big deal here? I don't get that. It's two different ideologies, right? I would say that, of course, you don't want to talk to 5-year-old children about this. There's a lot of people who are trying to do things like that, and that's just crazy. But if we're talking about teens, many of the time, if a teen thinks that's what's going on, there may be something where they lean towards, transgender people, and they may choose to live that lifestyle. With that in mind, I do think that they should have a good amount of people who are able to tell them the truth, because that's the problem here. I don't feel the problem is that some transgender people are supportive of each other's transition. That is not my thing. My thing is the fact that people cannot be honest, who do not specifically have complete support for that lifestyle. Can we have our own voices? Can we exercise our own freedom of speech? That's my thing. I have no issue with transgender people talking about their perspective and how they see transgender people and how they feel they should be treated or whatever, So, yeah, that's just how I feel about that, I feel like if they could hear the balanced view of things, where people who are critical of this, who may have some questions about this, maybe they don't think that it's all that good of an idea to alter one's body like that because of the health issues, because of the lack of self-esteem, because of the lack of self-acceptance of one's natural body. These would be things that someone who is not a part of that transgender ideology could express. But the thing is, because both sides don't want to hear each other out, it's like you both try to trample each other's rights for freedom of speech. And you both should share your right to freedom of speech and just share your opinion and be supportive of your opinion to transgender people. It would be much more helpful than trying to stomp each other's voices out.
Is a very genius choice to pick, because there's kids all over that platform who are ready to take in new ideas and hear from these speakers, and that's why he has over 600,000 followers on the platform. Now, a woman decided to call this out. on a TikTok of her own. And let's take a look at that video, and then we're going to look at the result of her calling out Jeffrey Marsh and what happened in the wake of her posting this video.
Okay, guys, this video is going to be a bit long.
Stop telling trans people that we're inspirational.
Stop telling kids to go on your Patreon and chat to you privately without their parents knowing.
And then a lot of people made stitches of me saying I'm transphobic, I've done a lot of bad stuff. They've even attacked my scarf, my religion, a lot of bad stuff.
I just want to know more of what she's talking about there. Because what is she talking about? Stop doing what again? She was saying he was trying to speak to them privately. I would like to know more about that. Like, could you elaborate?
Which I don't want to go into. And these people have also said they are not talking to the kids. Okay, so I did a little bit of digging.
Hi, kids. Hey, kids. I want to talk to the kids. Hi, kids. Hey, kids.
So yeah, there's a lot of videos of them addressing kids. Now, the main video.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with them doing videos for younger people about being transgender. To me, that's not a big deal. I think for the people interested in that, they have some transgender leanings, and therefore, that's the type of content they want to watch. It would be no different than you explaining Islam to children, or, for example, and I don't mean that in an offensive way. I'm just saying just different things that someone would explain. I'm a Muslim myself, no disrespect to the religion. Or someone explaining conservative values, to children. This is not grooming children because you have a specific ideology. It is just expressing your views on this nature. Anyway, continue.
Your parents screwed up.
So pause there. She's even using the pronouns that this guy has chosen for himself and saying, respectfully, I just want to give you the receipts. I just want to show you that this man is gearing towards talking to children. He's trying to have private conversations with children on his Patreon. He is setting up videos specifically for children to watch without their parents.
To me, I don't see anything wrong with the videos. Now, on the Patreon, what is he trying to do as far as to speak to them privately? Are you saying maybe that they're talking about, like, some of the things they struggle with homophobia or transphobia? I don't see anything wrong with that. But if you're talking about, like, something more sinister, I would like to hear more of that.
And really guiding them toward the direction of abandoning their, quote, toxic parents. So she puts out this video just simply saying, here are the...
I don't know if that's... Like I said, if someone is trying to self-preserve themselves and, you don't really understand how transphobes can act. Some transphobes don't like that transsexuals are breathing, okay? Sometimes they may say that they deserve to be, that their lives deserve to be removed from this world, that they deserve to, be killed, basically, be, beat up, they call them all sorts of names that are really bad. Like, sometimes people don't know how hateful people talk about transsexuals or homosexuals. They really don't. They pay attention more to... I think they don't want to pay attention to that because if they do, they see how poisonous it can be for a person and why some people will try and direct other people away from those people. So, yeah, I don't really think that that's actually grooming children. I think it's talking about self-preservation. Anyway, continue.
Here's what's happening. And now, here's an update from this woman on TikTok. And as you'll notice in looking at this thumbnail, she's crying. Let's see why.
So I just got an email saying, pretty much a threat, saying, they know where I live. And what scares me the most is they have got my daughter's details on the email, like what time I leave to drop them to school, pick them up. And it's not a coincidence because both of my daughters, they go to 2 different schools. So they know. They've given the school details and everything. So, yeah, my daughters are involved now in this. As some of you might know, that my car was damaged in this whole thing. I was getting not very nice videos and now emails with a lot of details on that email. So I'm done. I don't want to do anything. I'm not going to talk about Jeffrey Marsh. I've deleted everything, removed it. If you guys want to go ahead, but please don't come to my house. You just get on with your life, I'll get on with mine. You guys want me to say I'm sorry? Fine, I'm sorry. Please don't come at me, don't come to my house, don't do anything with me. Because I'm just one person, and specifically 4 or 5 of you have 4 or 5 of you have kind of done stuff. Like some of you have found old pictures of me and uploaded it on TikTok without my hijab. So you guys have got that. I know you guys are gonna take the mickey out of this video. So, but my main thing is please don't.
Pause there. Man,
The part with the hijab, I don't get what that had to do with anything. That was kind of funny, honestly. Obviously, it's not right to be harassing people and their kids and all that stuff. But that's what I mean when I talk about the whole freedom of speech situation. Both sides have a freaking problem here. You both have a freaking problem in understanding that you both have the right to freedom of speech. For some reason, you don't like the other side speaking. Like you, Amala, not liking Jeffrey saying his opinion on transgender issues, on sex, on gender. Instead, you think that he deserves to go to jail, or they deserve to go to jail, because they specifically said that they don't believe in sex. That's their personal right to not believe in sex. If they don't want to believe in sex, that's their choice, period. But for you, you think he must believe in sex. They must believe in sex. They must believe in all this stuff. And it's like, honestly, to me, I kind of feel like this isn't really paying attention to the fact that you are claiming that this person is supporting the bullying of other people who don't have the same opinion as Jeffrey. And, that is wrong, obviously. But it's also wrong to say that people deserve to go to jail because they don't agree with you on sex, because they don't believe on you on gender. I don't really care what side you are on with this transgender issue, whether you're on the very, I guess they call it transphobic side, or the side of the transsexuals, whichever side you are on. I personally do not care about either side, whichever side you're on, where I don't think that you should go to jail because you have a different opinion than I do. I don't care enough to think that I don't have so much of a negative feeling towards people having a different opinion to me on transgender issues. This isn't an issue that has to do with breaking the law, like pedophilia, or, killing somebody, or robbery. It's none of those things. It's just a basis of, will someone get a sex change or not? And here are the reasons why some people think that getting a sex change is unhealthy for that person. And I agree. And some people think that it's a good idea. That's all this is. Now, these two stances are not illegal. Neither side is illegal, okay? And neither side should be stifled. I don't think. I think both sides should be allowed to have their opinions as they are. It's a free freaking country. So that's all I have to say on this video. I know I wanted to actually react a little bit more to more of the stuff. I think actually this is pretty much the end of the video, so, and I don't have enough space anyway, so that's all I'm going to say here. It's, I believe in freedom of speech, and this is why I personally, when people talk about Jeffrey Marsh, it's weird to me, because it's like, I don't see any problem there. That's that person's opinion on transgender issues, and that's their right to express it. And I have my right to express it as well, That's just how it is. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching, everyone. Like and subscribe, comment down below, and have a great day, guys. Bye.